Hey guys, I'm Dale and welcome to the JeepSolid Garage. So today we are continuing with the rebuild on this Project 92 YJ. Today we are taking the clutch off the engine. And we're doing that so we can finally get this engine onto the engine stand. And while we do that, we're going to cover a few parts of the clutch, and there's a few little tips and tricks, things you need to pay attention to when you're taking the clutch off. And one thing you need to at least consider is how old is the clutch that you're working on. Older vehicles, older clutches, they used to use asbestos in the clutches. Modern day US manufacturers, I don't know of any that are using asbestos anymore, but overseas, if your clutch is from an older vehicle or the clutch came from overseas, could there be asbestos in it? I don't know, they don't have the same US regulations. So it's just something you might want to consider, and there are some precautions you can take if you think there may be asbestos in the clutch. I'll put a link in the description below of some resources. Now this piece here is an inspection plate or spacer plate. On each side there's a hollow dowel that needs to come out. It's not going to come out with this though. So here we have the pressure plate or the cover over the clutch, and then we've got all these fingers here. Before we even get started, we're going to inspect these fingers. We're looking for cracks or damage, excessive wear, grooves in them. Are any of those fingers bent or misaligned? Now if you're going to be using the same pressure plate, you definitely want to mark its relationship to the flywheel so you can get it back on in the exact same position. And yes, I'm using fingernail polish because I have daughters. And one of the precautions I'm using, just kind of soak it down a little bit before you start taking the clutch off, because I don't know anything about this clutch, where it came from, made in China. So I am taking a little bit of precaution about asbestos, so you just kind of wet it down before you start taking bolts off. That prevents any of the dust from flying around in the air, and you don't want to use compressed air on it or pneumatic tools. Now we can go ahead and take the clutch cover off. There's actually 6 bolts around here, and you want to undo those kind of in stages. You don't want to just take one bolt all the way out. You want to kind of relieve the pressure off the spring here evenly, so the pressure plate comes off evenly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to back some of these off. A little bit at a time. Now here we've got the clutch, and it's actually labeled flywheel side here. There's a flywheel side and a pressure plate side. And on the clutch here, we're looking for excessive wear or wear all the way down to the rivets. And this one, yeah, it is just above the rivets here. So this clutch was on its way out. And then on the pressure plate here, we're looking for scoring, cracks, heat damage where it got overheated. Just a few things to look for on these clutches when you're working on them. And this pressure plate actually looks like it's still okay. I don't see any cracks or grooves or any discoloration from overheating, so I think I'll be able to reuse this, but the clutch disc here, it's definitely getting replaced. And you're going to want to inspect the pilot bearing too, inside the flywheel here. I've seen examples where all the needle bearings in here are gone, and it's just totally trashed, so definitely want to inspect that. Alright, now we can take the flywheel off. If you have an impact driver or something, that'll make it a lot easier. If not, somebody's going to have to, it's going to try to spin on you, so somebody's going to have to hold the other end with a wrench. But I think I can get it with this. Oh, that's loud. And one advantage I have right now is the flywheel is real close to the ground. I got a soft place to set it here, because this thing's heavy. Alright, there we go. Flywheel's out of the way. And this spacer plate. I'll get that out of the way in a second. There we go. Alright, what do you say we put it on the engine stand? Oops. Gotta keep the shop cat out of here for a bit. You guys haven't met my shop cat, little Tootsie. You'll see her in some of my other videos. And it's a good idea to be prepared for a little bit more coolant to come out. You know, not that I've ever spilled any. Now, depending on the engine stand you're using, you might have to take this little dowel out. But fortunately with my engine stand here, it was giving me a little trouble, but I can just leave it in place because it fits nicely over the top of it. And also be sure you're using real good quality grade 8 bolts. You don't want any weak bolts holding this thing up. And it's just a matter of lining up our engine stand to the block here. I'm actually lifting this engine stand up with my foot so I can get these threaded in nice. The bolts I was using down here, they were just a little shy, so I'm going a little longer here. You definitely want to get a real good bite on it here. Now before I go tightening these down real tight, I'm going to make sure that all the arms here are kind of even. You'll notice Here, I can kind of move it back and forth a bit. I just want everything kind of straight so that when I rotate the engine or something, just kind of helps keep it balanced nicely. Okay, and with that, let's lower it down. So there we go, 100% on the stand. Be sure to check out some of my other videos on this Project 92 rebuild. Thanks for watching, have a good day. It's heavy.